The ocean, an underwater world full of mystery and wonder. Its depths are shrouded with unanswered questions and a myriad of possibilities. It has driven the curiosity of man for centuries, from the earliest sea adventures to modern-day expeditions. Yet in all of human history, no person has come close to the magnitude of oceanic understanding that Jacques Cousteau has achieved. His exploration into the sea has single-handedly outdone any scientist before or since him, as he sought out and encountered new forms of plants and animals, many of which we would be completely unaware of without him. Without Cousteau's exchange of ideas and the knowledge of his marine adventures through numerous documentaries and films, the general public would be oblivious to the undersea world and many of the glorious secrets it possesses. Jacques Cousteau, aquanaut, filmmaker, and protector of the oceans. Born June 11, 1910, in Saint-André-de-Cubzac, France, Jacques Cousteau was a child of the early 20th century. He has always been one for exploring. During his adolescence, his father, Daniel Cousteau, became employed as a legal advisor to Eugene Higgins, a rich American who took them on his travels around Europe. Cousteau soon became enveloped in investigating the world around him and often wrote down his experiences in his journal. These travels eventually led him and his family to New York, where Higgins taught him to swim. It was also here that he developed a passion for filmmaking. In 1930, he joined the French Naval Academy, presumably to be with the sea that he adored, and got his first formal experiences as a filmmaker, filming his travels with the Navy and documenting the peoples he encountered. It was during this time in the Navy that Cousteau had a near-fatal car accident. Cousteau chose to swim in order to help rehabilitate himself. He was amazed at the beauty of the world underneath him and instantly fell in love with the sea, stating, "The sea, once it casts its spell, holds one in its net of wonder forever." As a result of the French-German armistice of 1940, the French Navy was taken out of World War II. This left much free time for Cousteau, who began combining his love of the ocean with his love for filmmaking. He filmed his first underwater film in 1942, entitled 60 Feet Down, but was frustrated with the limitations of diving. As a result, Cousteau practically invented scuba diving with his creation, the aqualung, in 1943.
We first tested the aqualung in the summer of 1942 on the French Mediterranean coast with my friends Frédéric Dumas and Philippe Taillet. At that time, we had no idea how it would change all our lives. Later on, we would add new sophisticated equipment. But the important thing was that now the diver was free, and safety was in freedom.
Without Cousteau's invention, marine exploration would be limited and near impossible. In 1947, after perfecting his invention, Cousteau set the first freedive record at 300 feet. Prior to Cousteau and the invention of the aqualung, little to nothing was known about our world's oceans. This device allowed for a diver to be underwater for hours, not just minutes, which meant further exploration into the depths of. A consequence of Cousteau's invention was his commission to establish the underwater research group of the French Navy after World War II. While in this position, he worked to clear mines from the Mediterranean Sea, began marine exploration, and tested the newly developed underwater apparatuses. However, his yearning for exploring the oceans drove him to leave the Navy. In 1950, he created the French Oceanographers Campaigns, bought a converted U.S. minesweeper, the Calypso, and set sail for the Red Sea. Captain Cousteau's discoveries continued. To aid his explorations, he developed a maneuverable submarine, which he called the Diving Saucer. With the D-2, Cousteau advanced the field of underwater archaeology, finding several shipwrecks. He also created the Conshelf 1, an idea for an underwater living space in which the first ocean nauts, Albert Falco and Claude Wesley, lived in for a week. He would later approve upon the first underwater base camp with the development of the Conshelf 2 and 3. Cousteau was truly an explorer, documenting and sharing many of his discoveries. He filmed the first ever sight of swimming nautiluses, and also was one of the first people to document social interactions between dolphins with others of their species and also with humans, stating that dolphins are emotional, sensitive, vulnerable creatures, probably more so than we are. In later years, he began filming his excursions into the deep, creating the first ever underwater documentaries, and introduced the international public to his underwater utopia, winning Oscars for his films such as The Silent World, The Golden Fish, and World Without a Sun. There were many other efforts to create exchanges with the public that Cousteau embraced, particularly after documenting the amount of marine pollution he found. He believed that water and air, the two essential fluids on which all life depends, have become global garbage cans. In 1960, he spoke out against dumping nuclear waste in the Mediterranean Ocean, feeling that if humanity didn't know how to dispose of the waste, we shouldn't continue funding the use of nuclear energy. Captain Cousteau also helped launch the Bill of Rights of Future Generations, which included guidelines for sustainable resource use, pollution control and mitigation, sensible family planning, and a peaceful coexistence, attempting to balance out the negative effects we have had on our ecosystem.
He was telling us, not only our family, but more and more the public, don't use the ocean as a garbage can, as a universal sewer, because it is our life support system.
Another effort that was dear to Cousteau was the Cousteau Society, which he created in 1973 to advocate for the protection of the ocean. Today it has over 50,000 members worldwide and helps to continue Cousteau's explorations of the world's oceans and to raise awareness for the conservation of our world's water ecosystems. Although Cousteau died on June 25, 1997, Cousteau's legacy also lives on through his bloodline. His sons Philippe and Jean-Michel, along with his grandson, Fabien, have continued to explore the Earth's oceans and advocate for the rights of our environment. Jacques Cousteau has single-handedly done more to raise awareness for the ecosystem than anyone in the 20th century, if not in the history of the world. Without Cousteau and his production of films and documentaries, the general public would be unaware and uneducated of many of the natural wonders of the underwater world.
Jean-Michel Cousteau says that's when his father realized he had a mission.
To communicate with people more and more and more about what was there, and he used to tell me all the time, people, and I quote, people protect what they love. So it's a matter of exposing people and making them care and love and want to protect.
Cousteau has truly embodied every aspect of being an explorer, encountering new forms of life and exchanging this research with the world. His contributions to the scientific world, including his inventions such as the aqualung and the conch shell, pushed marine exploration and helped us gain knowledge about the oceans we share the world with.